Hello, I am Rachel Morgan, a sales trainer and coach who helps you learn how to convert your leads into paying clients without having to waste any time. So, a huge aspect of sales is the client experience. And so, I'm really excited today to have this conversation with Angelica, who is an OBM, about how the systems we put into place influence our client experience. And if you're not familiar with Angelica, she has spent a combined 14 years working in restaurants and for Disney. When the pandemic hit, she knew that she wanted to explore options online. So she started as an Instagram influencer, pivoted into a VA, and then eventually expanded her roster into an OBM. With her organizational skills, she knew that she wanted to dive deeper into her clients' business and help them run their operations smoother, something I know that we all need. Angelica and I have shared a love for client experience and making sure it is top notch, which is why I've invited her on here with us today to talk about how client experience also impacts the operations of your business. And for everyone that is joining, first of all, can you hear me? Because I'm trying something a little bit different. Oh, hello. Yes, you're here.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello. So for everyone joining, if you can let us know where you're from, and if you have any questions, please make sure to share them with us. And I want to make sure too that you can hear me okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay! Okay, for any reason you can't hear me, let me know. I'm trying something different, so. Perfect. Well, welcome on. Tell everyone, where are you from? Because we said Disney, and there's so many possibilities on where that could be.
Yes, so I'm actually from Illinois. I was born and raised about an hour south of Chicago, the city. But after I graduated, I wanted to explore my possibilities. So I discovered the college program at Disney, and I thought that'd be great to add Disney on my resume. So I did the college program right after graduation. I moved to Orlando, Florida, where I didn't think I'd be staying, but I ended up loving just the state, the sunshine itself, and then of course the Disney Corporation. So I ended up staying. I've been here for 7 wonderful years now. So I don't live actually in Orlando, though I live right outside Orlando in Claremont. So I'm not in the hustle bustle of the tourism, but I'm really, really close by at least.
Right. I think most of us can say that we're not actually from the city. We live in the suburbs of it. So, wow,
Right.
I love that, right? And who doesn't want to work for Disney?
I
Disney is
know.
so magical. I love it. Well, so first of all, before we even dive in, for someone who might not understand, what is an OBM? Because I said that a few times.
Yeah, so an OBM stands for Online Business Manager, and most people either don't know what an OBM is or they get it confused with a VA. And the funny thing is it's really similar to a virtual assistant, but also really different. And kind of how I like to explain an OBM is a VA on steroids, because we still offer a handful of different services. We don't usually niche down to one or two. Some definitely do, but the norm of us have a handful of different services we offer our clients, but instead of just doing like surface level tasks, we dive deeper into their business to figure out strategy, where the gaps are that they're having, and just how to make their business more productive as a whole.
I love that. So it's strategy versus just doing tasks, basically.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I know there's so many acronyms today. It's like, oh my gosh, what does this new one mean? I don't understand it. OBM is
Yeah.
one of those. So hopefully, if you're watching, that helped clear that up a little bit. So thank you, Angelica. So another thing that I know that we talk about a lot is having systems in place and going into strategy and all that. So what do you mean by systems? What does that mean?
I actually love that you asked this question, because systems is a term that gets thrown around a lot in the online space, and
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily in a bad way, but most of the time when someone hears the word systems, they think of like Dubsado or Kartra, which is totally fine, but they're actually not even systems. They're more like management tools or platforms. But the definition of system is just having somewhere to house a set number of like tasks or items, especially for a business. So it's just having a set things in one place. So technically it is a system, especially when you look at like Dubsado. Dubsado houses so many things, so collectively it is a system. So they're not wrong when they call
Yeah.
it a system, but the technical term is they are tools. So in the online space, you can kind of just think of it another like the lingo of the online space of this is what we call it in the online world, versus in like maybe the corporate world it's known as a tool, right? So it does get thrown around a little bit differently, but it's totally okay. You know, you just kind of go with it, roll with what we create in this online space. But yeah, systems is mainly just those tools and platforms that hold a lot. So not just one or two things, but hold so much that
Okay. Yeah.
it makes your business easier.
So what I hear it as is it's basically like having tools in place to help you be organized with your data and your information, like a go-to place. That's why
Yes.
Dubsado is considered like a system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Correct.
okay, question. What is minimal system requirements for any online entrepreneur? So I love this because this is actually a question I have for you as well. So we can choose to answer that now or we can answer it a little bit later, but I'll leave that up to you.
Later would be great just because I would love to talk about systems a little bit more in
Yeah.
general, and then we can talk about how you can maximize the systems.
Ooh, okay. I love this. I feel like I'm going to be learning today. So definitely hold on to that question. And if we don't
Okay.
address it, please bring it up again to us. And if anyone else has questions as well, please make sure to share them. We want to make sure to answer them for you. So why then? Okay, so we understand what an OBM does now. We know what systems are, but why do you feel having them in place is so important for your business? Like, why should we even be considering them?
So just like tools, your systems obviously help you grow. They save you time, they save you money and energy. But systems
Mm-hmm.
is like another level of just having, like Asana or Google Suites, those really basic, simple tools. A system combines so many tools and aspects of your business that it's going to save you so much time for yourself as well as your clients. It's going to save you money because when you implement one system, you can get rid of other tools because they're right there in that one place. So now you're saving money by only having one system. And then as well as your energy, because instead of picking up, let's say, 5 separate applications or tools to onboard someone, you can now use just one, Dubsado, to do all your onboarding. So it's going to save your energy, it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, it's going to give you a better experience because now you're more energized and happier and less stressed out. And then same
Right.
thing for your clients.
Yeah, I mean, it's really easy when you're like going down this checklist, like, what do I need to do to onboard a client? Like offboarding, all the different things. And I mean, not just like even that, like it could be like a lead gen thing, right? And so being able to just log in and everything is in one place would be amazing because there's so many different websites and tools that we can be using. And it's easy for something to not overlap or not speak to each other or not know things get lost. It's not a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and normally you'd have to have like a checklist to make sure you're not forgetting things, but when you have these big systems where everything's in one place, it makes it so much easier to not forget stuff and make the experience a lot better.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's just like easier for you because you're like, I can log in here. What I need is here. You don't have to stress about having to check other places. Because I
Right.
know, like, having been a store manager, like when I had to do store visits, I couldn't log into one place and get all this analytic information. I had to log into like 5 different places, and you're like, what if I forgot something? Or, it's just it can be overwhelming, right?
Exactly. Like when you think
So
of like the onboarding process, you have to, if you don't have Dubsado, you're probably pulling up like HelloSign to create the contract, and then you're pulling up wherever your house your invoices. So PayPal or Wave, now you have to create the invoice, and now you have to pull up
yeah.
Calendly to and you give them that link to book a call. So you're pulling up all these different applications and hoping you remember them when you can just have them all in one CRM like Dubsado.
Right. That's a really good point. I didn't know this about Dubsado is that you could send contracts over it, which I'm like, wow, like then you don't have to worry about Adobe or
Right. You
HelloSign
don't have
or
to write. You don't
DocuSign
have
or
to worry
whatever.
about. Yeah, like you don't have to worry about writing it up, downloading it, then uploading it to an email or a file or wherever you send it to. It's all right there in one place.
I love it. And your enthusiasm is so infectious for it. I love it. So, another aspect of it that I know that we both really agreed on is client experience. So, before we kind of go into, and I think it's really clear how this helps with client experience, but like, what is client experience to you?
So client experience, again, looking at just the lingo, that's what we call it here in the online space, but it's just the same as the customer service in like the corporate world. So if you think about
Mm-hmm.
like your favorite places you like to go to, whether that's Target or Nike or Tesla, you think about that experience that you have when you go to these places. And obviously, if it's a bad experience, you're not going to go back. And that could all depend on the communication, if you got the help that you wanted, if someone was always there for support and questions. So if it was a bad experience, you're probably never going to go again, and you're not going to refer them. Versus if you go somewhere like, everyone loves Target, you go to Target and you just have everything you need. Target even tells you things you don't need. They have coffee, they have food, like they have all your things that you need in one spot. you end up having this great experience when you're going. So of course you're going to go again, and then you're going to refer that place to someone else. So you just kind of have to look at the overall aspect of the journey that that your client goes through with you in order to decipher if that experience is a good one or a bad one.
Right. I will completely agree with you is that client experience isn't just like closing the sale, right? Or it's the client journey and understanding how someone moves through your business from before you're aware of them till after you're done working with them. And so understanding how client experience impacts each of that, like you said, like even just the atmosphere of like having food and coffee while in Target, right, is huge, right? It can really determine if you want to go back or not. And of course, there are other touch points that influence that as well. But client experience is huge to a business.
Yeah, and I love that you say the entire journey, because I think that's where most people don't like recognize that the client experience starts before they even become your client. And like my favorite example when I'm explaining this is like, think of like a new restaurant opened in your town. You want to go check them out, right? You want to go see what kind of food they have. And so when you pull up to the restaurant, first of all, their parking lot is packed. So now you're doing circles to find a parking space. There's nowhere to park. You finally find one, then you go in. Now there's an hour wait, so now you got to wait an hour. And then now they seat you, and it takes about 15 minutes for the server to come to your table. That's a really bad experience. You're not going to forget that. So next time someone brings that restaurant up, or let's say your partner says, hey, you want to go try this again? You're probably going to say, no, not really, because that first impression is going to be so bad that they're not even going to want to try it again.
Right. And you make oh my gosh, you speak my love language here. You make a really fabulous point, and I know we can dive more into this, but your experience or the experience someone has working with you can impact future sales, because just like what you said, if this is a new restaurant, you're going to be talking about it to people, and they might make them think differently if they actually want to go and try it out as well, which then influences your future sales without you even realizing and having met this person. And so, being that you and I both work online in a service space, sometimes we don't recognize that and there's a disconnect. But the way people feel interacting with you, what they see on your social channels, on your website, or anything else that you put out in the world, right, can, okay, so in the online space, it's seeing you before you're aware of them, before they've engaged with your content, before they followed you, right? And the feeling that they have just viewing your material, right, can determine if they want to work with you. And then once they actually do reach out to you, it's how are you making them feel from that? Are you quick to respond?
How easy it is for them to apply with you, how easy it is for them to book a call with you, that all those beginning processes of just becoming a follower, entering your space, all of that will defer whether it's a good experience or a bad experience.
Exactly. And people really do talk. I mean, I'm sure that you get recommendations from people all the time, and before you buy, you're like, okay, I want to talk to people that have worked with you before, or has anyone else heard of this person before? And so there's, what we say really does matter about situations, right? So we want to make sure that we have strong foundations in place so that people say positive things and want to work with us, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay, I have to know now, and we have to answer the question, like, what are some of your favorite systems, or what do you feel like everyone needs to have an incredible experience?
So with my 1.5 years in the online space, I've played with so many different tools and systems. I just love to learn, and I've had so many different clients that require different things. So it's given me the ability to kind of explore. And now even with my recommendations or my favorites, it's always good to explore as well, because every business is different, every entrepreneur is different. It even goes down to what programs and services you have, how many clients you intake at once. All those factors are going to determine which systems and tools are perfect for you. But for me, comes down to literally 3. One is a CRM like Dubsado. You also have HoneyBooks, 17 Hats. I believe Kartra does it as well. But Dubsado is kind of like my favorite because it's the most customizable. And of course, I'm client experience based, so that makes me happy. So Dubsado is going to house your entire onboarding, offboarding, as well as any kind of communication in between working with someone. Now, it's not going to house your client work, so content, emails, anything like that's not going to be there. But invoices, obviously, if you need to send a quick email, any kind of forms, like if you have an onboarding form, even the testimonial, lead captures, anything like that will be there. But literally, contract, invoice, any kind of form, simple emails, and then obviously you can use scheduling in there. So if you're like a coach and you're doing like one-on-ones or bi-weeklies, they can schedule their calls through it. You can even track your income and expenses. So it can kind of like assess your goals to see if you're making your income Like, it's really crazy what you can do in
Yeah.
Dubsado. But I would definitely suggest a CRM for your onboarding and offboarding. And then one kind of management tool to house all of your client work as well as all your business work. I love Airtable. It's just what I've used since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Airtable is really similar to ClickUp, but since I've never really used ClickUp, I just like to stick with what I know. So Airtable is amazing. Houses my lead tracker, my content, my captions, my emails, market research, Facebook, groups I keep tabs on, as well as all of my client work. So everything is in Airtable. So if you're bouncing around from like Google Suites to Dropbox to Trello to Asana, you can literally take all those and just use one like Airtable or ClickUp, a bit more advanced. So one management tool, and then the only thing that's left, because CRM and a tool can't do this, is your email marketing. So I also recommend an email marketing platform like ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign or Flowdesk. I use ConvertKit. Again, that's what I've used since the beginning. I love it. No issues with it. So if I had to pick the most minimalistic systems and tools, it would be a CRM, a management tool, and an email marketing. Those three, I literally run my entire business. I don't have to do anything else outside those tools.
I love that. And I've used all of them. Well, I haven't really used Dubsado. I've kind of played around with it a little bit, and I can see how much love you have for it. So it's very, very evident. And everyone else, like, I've never met anyone that isn't excited by it, and it seems like an incredible platform, truly. But I'm curious, like, because my background is, I call it clienteling, right? So taking notes on clients and building relationships. So a lot of people get confused on what that means, and so CRM comes up a lot. So when you're using Dubsado and you have a CRM program, does that allow you to take notes about the people that you enter? Can you like update and everything? Yeah.
You can put in notes. You can even add tasks. Like, let's say you just wanted to add some tasks for your clients. So if you don't need a huge management tool like Airtable or Asana or any of that, you can even add tasks in there for yourself as well as your clients. And then the email, there are emails in there, and those are specific just for the clients working with you. So even if you just wanted to send a quick email, it saves all of them. So instead of digging through your Gmail for emails you sent your 20 clients, they're all going to be housed there in separate folders as well.
Wow, it seems like an incredible tool to use for sure. So, and I have used Airtable before. It can definitely be a great platform. I've never thought about it for market research. So that is a hot tip right there to kind of put everything in. And yeah, I mean, I've never actually used ClickUp either, so it's good to know that it's kind of similar. I was actually kind of wondering. And email marketing is really important. I use Flowdesk. I like it.
Flowdesk is nice.
But I hear ConvertKit is quite, like, I've heard no complaints about ConvertKit as well. So
yeah, I love Flowdesk as well, but since I was already in ConvertKit, so of course I stay with it. But yeah, because the options are different, right? It just kind of goes with what you know and what you want.
Exactly, exactly. And so what do you feel like, what happens when we don't have these things in place? When we don't have a CRM, we don't have a management tool, and we don't have email marketing?
Lots of wasted time, money, and energy for sure. So kind of like how I was saying earlier, if you don't have a CRM, you're pulling up like 5 different tools. You're pulling up something to sign a contract, or pulling up something to create an invoice, something to create the booking calls, and then you have to download everything, get them all together. So you're wasting time pulling up multiple applications and tools, and now your client isn't receiving those things in a timely manner. And then just back to her point of, you might forget something, so now they have to ask you for something if it was forgotten. So it's a really broken process when you're using multiple things, and it's just wasting time, also wasting money, because if you could potentially be spending money on like Airtable and Asana versus just paying for one system and tool. It can eliminate the other ones. You can save money by paying for just one versus multiple ones. And then just, again, your energy, right? You're wasting so much energy on using multiple platforms and tools versus just one, and all that time that you're wasting getting all these things together. And instead, you could be focusing on something else. So like how I always like to say it is with Dubsado, I take about 15 minutes to onboard a client versus before it used to be an hour. So now I can just get it set up, and Dubsado can take care of it while I go, like, hop on a call or go work on a client project, versus before I'd have to spend that hour to onboard somebody.
Right, because everything is there in Dubsado. You can send the contract, you can send the email, you can send a checklist. Everyone has a different onboarding process depending what you do and what you need. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine where you're like, okay, I got to nail down like payment and all this and get all these emails.
Right, yeah.
Together. I mean, obviously you could be quicker if you prep it, but even that takes time to prep it and get it all together. So I love that. And it's a good reminder that like things don't have to be so hard. They can be easy. And,
Mhm.
you know, I think relating this back to client experience is like you want it to be as easy as possible for people to work with you. They have to jump through hoops, if they have to get a million emails, there's all these things they have to do. It is such a turn off. It is not a good experience and it makes it confusing. And you do not want it to be confusing from the get-go at all.
Absolutely not. If someone can't find the link to book a call with you, or they're waiting forever for something, it's just going to kind of give them a bad taste, and then they're going to question whether or not this investment is going to be a good idea.
Right, like your restaurant analogy that you had earlier, right? Like if you have a horrible time trying to find parking and then you have to wait forever to sit down, you're going to start wondering, is this actually worth it to eat here? Right? And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with us too. If it makes it hard to work with you, then they're going to question that as well. So you want systems in place to make it a better experience, right?
Absolutely.
Is there anything that I missed there about client experience that you would add?
Only like there's a couple things I would like to just add in, just like maybe reminders. But one is anytime I'm putting together systems, tools, processes, is think about your client. Put yourself in their shoes and see it from their perspective. And that will give you an easier way to build things or put processes together. Because that's usually what ends up happening is they're just like, well, I don't know what my client would like. Well, just put yourself in their shoes. See it from their perspective, And then my other tip or reminder would be treat every client or lead the exact same. Whether they're opting in for a freebie or investing in a $5,000 coaching program, treat them the same. Now, of course, the higher the investment, you might give them more incentives like a welcome gift or some kind of discount or codes, but treat them like the same because you never know that person who opts into your freebie could opt into that high ticket offer as well.
Right, right. And hi, Lindsay. Hi, Donna. We're so glad you're here. And one question I get often is like, what if someone isn't buying and they just keep talking to you? Like, what do you do? And like, I think you just made a really good point is like, you should not treat someone different, whether they're buying or they're not, right? Because you never know when they're ready to say yes, and you never know who they know. And I know I have surprised you with that as well, because when we first met, I recommended people to you, and I want to recommend people to you because, it's like a huge form of flattery when someone recommends you because it says, I trust you enough to take care of the person that I'm recommending and that you'll have their best interest in mind. And just like we talked about at the beginning, a referral is a really powerful thing on whether or not someone comes back based on the experience that someone's had with you. And so systems are so important to making sure that it starts off on a good foot, right? So that people want to do those things.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. Okay. Anything else that I missed out on why systems are so important and what we need to know? Because I know, like, I want to pick your brain on all this.
No, I think we pretty much nailed all the basics and all the, must-haves and must-knows.
Yeah. So just to kind of summarize from what we talked about today is that you want 3 things in your business to have a really good, solid foundation so that your client experience is positive. We want a CRM program like Dubsado, so you can house all of the client information that you have, contracts, payments, everything, make it smooth and easy. We want a management tool like Airtable where you can put in your market research, you can put in content even. I know I'm missing something there too.
Lead tracker, email.
Yep. And then the third thing is that we want email marketing. So you can use ConvertKit, Flowdesk. I know that there are other ones that you had also mentioned as well, but in order to be able to reach people, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. And then when it is smooth and easy to bring people on, right, they're going to naturally have a better experience working with you and enjoy the time working with you, and they're more likely to refer you and influence your future sales.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, Angelica, how can people work with you? How can they learn more about you? Where are you at?
So my retainer packages are actually fully booked. So I'm booked on retainers, but I do offer some other options as well. Thank you. So I actually have a client experience bundle. It's only $22. It has 5 different templates and checklists. It includes like a behind the scenes checklist to make sure you stay organized, a nurture email sequence to make sure we're nurturing our subscriber list. Also includes a list of like hidden gems you can add into your business to elevate your client experience. So many fun things there. I do have a freebie as well. It's just a welcome template. So it's like a little Canva PDF file that you can download, edit, and give to your new clients. It just helps you stand out a little bit more. I do have my intensive, which is just a 90-minute call. We can dive deep into your business and talk about strategy and what I think would be great tools and systems to put in place for your business. Maybe check out where you might have gaps to see how we can fix those. And then I also have my VIP days, which is a full system build
What?
of Sado. Yes, full system build with workflows, all your packages, invoicing, pricing, all that things set up for you so you can literally just hop right in and run with the wind.
So I love this. You have so many options. So someone is like, I know I need systems. This feels hard. It shouldn't be hard. Maybe you're not feeling organized, or you're like, I just don't have time. Reach out to Angelica. She's going to find you the best option and how she can best work with you. I really do recommend her from what I've seen. And so and from my interactions with her. In fact, if I was, I've never even said this to you, if I was still a store manager, I'd be like, you need to come work for me. Like, you're that good. So, and if you were interested, of course. But I definitely, like, she is your go-to for OBM, anything lead gen, anything for systems. Like, definitely reach out to Angelica. And even your freebie sounds amazing, because I'm all about onboarding, so it's really important, right? And so I might have to check it out. So but anyways, thank you so much for coming on here with me. I really enjoyed learning from you today. I know that I have a little bit of work to do myself, so I'm sure you'll hear from me. But thank you. And please go check out Angelica.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. I had so much fun today.
Yes, thank you. All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good.
All right, bye.